Meghan, Fascinations Relationship Expert, and I'm sure you recognize who I'm sitting next to. It's Jessica Drake, and she's been kind enough to sit here and do an interview with me. I've sat through two of her phenomenal Let's Talk Sex already. One was Anal 101, and the one last night was female masturbation. And today we're getting ready to talk about blowjobs.
ABCs and BJs.
Yeah, we've got a great crowd out there already. But I went and talked to some of our staff at the store, and they've got like a whole list of questions they want answered.
Okay.
So the first things first, and I noticed this too when I was writing to you, that your name, you don't like it capitalized. But I did a little research and I found out why.
So you know why.
Yeah, I know why, but...
The story may not be as exciting as people would like to think. I was signing autographs at my very first convention, which was VSDA about 10 or 11 years ago. And all of a sudden, I realized I had all these guys that suddenly wanted my autograph on a poster. And I had never signed an autograph before. And Jessica Drake is not my real name. Shocker. And so I really didn't know how to sign it. I tried a few times. It didn't look right. I got through the day. I went home that night, and I just signed it a bunch of different ways, you know, and I, like, scribbled it in a notebook hundreds and hundreds of times, and I just thought it looked better. And then I really liked the way it looked in print. So I ended up trademarking it that way, and it stands out. I mean, regardless of if people know why I do it or not, I've been around long enough for them to see the difference, like in our promo. So we'll have a big banner at the show at AEE in Vegas, and everyone's name is properly capitalized except for mine. And everybody always wants to talk about that. So it's not.
But it's something to talk about, and it makes you stand out, like you said.
It's cute. I think it's cuter that way.
And I like that you're honest about it, and you don't make up this big elaborate story.
Right. It all boils down to I couldn't make a great cursive capital J.
Those are I always had difficulty with those.
That's the real story.
Another thing is, what are your thoughts on the video industry, like with the web and like, you know, videos? Where do you see that going?
Well, DVD sales are definitely declining, but I think that there is still a market. People definitely seem to still be purchasing DVDs so that they can have something that's tangible. Mm-hmm. They like to bring them to me at stores. They like to hold them in their hands. They like to collect and display them. So I don't think that we should really just give up on DVDs as of yet. With advances in all this technology that continues to happen so quickly, I think that the future of our industry is just whatever that new content delivery system is. And unfortunately, with the internet right now, it's doing us more harm than good with piracy.
Right.
And you can have a team that combats piracy like Wicked does. You can have someone out there fighting it, but the reality is you take one down and 10 more have sprung up in the meantime, so it really is like wildfire. I think we're really seriously considering new methods of content delivery, and in the past few years we've really amped up our website, wicked.com, and we've offered some really interactive, live, hardcore sex shows that with our members, it's free for paying members of wicked.com, and you can't download that personal attention anywhere else. So I think that technology can also enable us to deliver some very personal attention, and we really need to utilize that.
Yeah, and I like what you said, that people like to hold it in their hand and have it at their own, and maybe even have you sign it too.
Yeah.
You know,
they really do, and I mean we've noticed obviously a decline, but there are consumers where that's their favorite medium. Like they want that, and as long as we do have that solid fan base of people that are looking for that, we'll continue to make it. I mean, Wicked has also won many awards for their packaging. You know, we had some really, really great box covers, yeah, and for our line of sensual care collection as well. And so it's really hard to not want to display something that's so beautiful like that, or not want to collect something like that, especially when you can get it signed.
Right. That's kind of comparable to books.
Yeah,
like, you know,
definitely.
in the e-books, I see those kind of similar.
Yeah.
Speaking of Wicked, somebody wanted to know how you feel about the Wicked Loop.
I couldn't be happier about the Sensual Care Collection, because there are some companies that decide to expand their brand by doing lube or doing toys. and all they do is just put their name on something that already exists. And we didn't do that. We partnered with a lab. We did a lot of research and development and product testing. And I know that before we even decided on the final formulas for our products, I was using samples that the lab was sending us in my movies. So I was sort of field testing it. You know, I was doing all the research. I'm really excited because I think that we successfully were able to represent the brand that we have spent 20 years building with a lube line, and I use it. I've tried almost every product in the line, with the exception of maybe the OT, the overtime for men, because I don't need to be desensitized. But I'm a really big fan of the Ultra because I'm a big fan of silicone lube. And the flavored lubes, the candy apple and the pomegranate. Pomegranate is my all-time favorite. I think they did a great job on it.
Delicious.
So yeah, I mean, I'm really happy with them, and I'm glad that I'm familiar with them.
Well, it says a lot when you use it yourself.
Absolutely. I've only had one other lube that I've been really faithful to the whole time I've been in the business, and our Ultra just absolutely blew it out of the water. So,
well, when I was reading about you, I noticed you do a lot of you wear a lot of different hats.
Yeah.
You know, you write, right?
I do.
Yeah. You obviously act. What are some of the other things you do?
Well,
You
I started directing about 5 years ago. I started directing features, and then 2 years ago I started doing the line of instructionals for Wicked. I created a line called Jessica Drake's Guide to Wicked Sex, and I'm about to shoot number 9. It's been 2 years. XBiz has honored it with Best Specialty Release. Avian's honored it with Best Educational Release, and it's done really well so far. I'm a bit of a multitasker, though. I do a lot of other things. I have a fleshlight. I have a real doll. I travel and dance a lot. I do international conventions. I host a radio show on SiriusXM called In Bed with Jessica Drake.
You're busy.
I'm not happy unless I'm completely occupied.
That's awesome.
I love
it. So what is your favorite if you had to pick one? I know that's
so hard.
I hate when people ask that, but
they do, I mean, I don't think that I've been asked what my favorite thing to do is. I get asked what my favorite movie is a lot.
Because you're doing a lot of creative things.
And it's because of Wicked, because Wicked's always really encouraged me to grow as a person, not just as a performer. So I've been able to do a lot of things I never thought I would do before.
So maybe behind the camera, in front of the camera?
My favorite thing behind the camera is the line of instructionals, for sure, and all the work that comes with it. It's the biggest headache, but it's probably the most rewarding thing that I do, personally. Like, I find a lot of satisfaction in it. But my heart is still in performing and having sex. So I have to really find a balance, because if I stay in LA often enough to shoot my 7 movies a year, then I feel like I might miss out on opportunities to take what I do on the road. So it's a balance, but I'm a Libra, so I'm supposed to be really good at that.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
No wonder you're so likable. You're a Libra.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that's the other thing I want to talk about is you're one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Thank you.
Genuinely nice.
But I'm lucky and I love what I do, so there's no reason not to be.
And that comes through too, is your passion. Like, I see you talking, taking the time to answer people's questions, get pictures with them, sign, your autograph. So where does that come from? Because I think that's instilled in us from our parents. And I know you also, when we were talking last night, you were telling me about you kind of grew up with a family that was very charitable.
Yeah. Definitely.
So,
I mean, I was raised to always be considerate of other people's feelings, and I think that sometimes I do that even to a fault. I can't help myself. My grandmother was really, really kind and generous and genuine, and I know where I came from, and I so appreciate where I am today, and I know I've been afforded so many opportunities that a lot of people never really get, and I've done some absolutely amazing things. And I'm grateful. And we never know when it's all going to stop. We never really know. Anything can happen at any minute. And I just have fun with everything.